In this session, we're going to be using the 4-5 bar model activity cards, which is multiplication and division between whole numbers and unit fractions. This will be very, I'm not going to say different, but it is going to involve fractions. So let's just jump straight into this, and it'll all make a whole lot more sense when we get into it. Renee's parents limited her time for playing video games to so many hours per day. What's the most number of hours she can play video games over a so many day period? Being an open problem, what does this problem, what is it trying to ask us to do? What do we even know? Well, we know that Renee's parents limited her time for playing video games to so many hours per day. Okay, so there's one thing that's real important. We need to know how many hours per day that they even told Renee she could play video games. What's the most number of hours she could play video games over and this is going to give us a number. It could be a week. It could just be over so many days. We don't necessarily know that yet. In your teacher guide, it goes ahead and gives you a hint to just let this yellow bar, we're going to let this yellow bar represent the days, and we're also going to be the hours in the day. Now, I have no idea at this point how many hours. We'll find that out in a moment. But right now, this is going to be the number of days. So this one bar represents one day, and Renee can play so many hours. And what we do not know is how many days that she's going to be able to play, or how many days, how many hours in each day. But what we do know, in order to find this answer out, we're going to be taking this and just repeating it. So since we're joining these together, and each one of these hours or amount of hours per one day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, whatever it ends up being, we are joining these yellows together. So is this going to be an addition problem or a multiplication problem? And how do you know? Turn to your partner and talk about this. And like I said, I don't know how many yellows we're going to put down, so I'm just going to leave all of these over here. I just know it's a bunch of dots. That's right. We have the same number of hours being repeated over and over and over. And since we're joining them and every one of these group sizes are the same size, it's going to be multiplication. Yes, we could do repeated addition, but we're now in upper grade level, so we're going to be multiplying this. Okay, so I'm going to move these to the side, and let's flip over the card, and now let's get some information. So now you know that we're going to be multiplying to come up with this answer. Renee's parents limited her time for playing video games to 1/2 hour per day. So in one day, she can play 1/2 hour. What's the most number of hours she can play video games over a 7-day period? So now we know how many days she's playing, which is what? 7. So how many of the yellow bars do I need? That's right, I need 7 yellow bars. 5, 6, and 7. And what do each one of these represent? That's right, the 7 days. So all of these are 7 days. So this bar represents one day for a 1/2 hour. Here's another 1/2 hour. Why am I labeling each one of these 1/2 hours? That's right, because that is the amount of hours that Renee's parents have limited her per day. So we are joining these together to find out the total number of hours that she can play over 7 days. If we wrote this out as a multiplication problem, we have 7 days of 1/2 hours. And our answer is going to be days or hours. That's right, it's hours. We not only know that because the problem says what's the most number of hours. We are looking for the number of hours, the total number of hours. But we also know that that label will also match the number in each group. And our days represents our groups. So we have 7 groups of 1/2. Do you see the 7 groups of 1/2? Yes. Now we need to solve this. What is 7 times 1/2? Now, one thing that you could do here is to say, well, we know that a 1/2 and a 1/2 is a whole, and a 1/2 and a 1/2 is a whole, so that's 1 hour. That's 1 hour. This is 1 hour. And then we have 1/2 left over because this only goes halfway of that 1, and 1/2 of 1 is 1/2. So we can easily from the bar model see that she has a total hours of 3.5 hours. Now that's using the bar models, which is very conceptual. Yes, we could go through an algorithm here, but at this point, I'm just going to stop because I think the first time kids encounter this, I think the bar models and helping them transfer from this to drawing their pictures are going to help them get to an answer with some understanding.